I've seen the same thing happen over and over. People grab a cheap, tabletop slushy maker from a discount store, think they've scored a deal, and end up with a half-liters of watery ice that melts faster than a snowflake in July. The regret shows up the moment you try to serve a crowd and realize the machine can't keep up, or that cleaning it is a nightmare that turns a fun party into a chore. So the question is whether the VEVOR commercial slushy machine feels like a smarter buy, or just another pricey gadget that looks good on paper. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking at slushy makers, I kept circling back to three core concerns. How many drinks can it actually churn before it needs a refill? How easy it is to switch flavors on the fly, and whether the cleaning routine will eat up the time I'd rather spend mingling with guests. The VEVOR unit tries to answer all three with its 12-liter capacity split across 3 independent tanks, stainless steel construction, and a control panel that promises easy operation. It's marketed as a bridge between a home countertop model and a full-size commercial rig, which makes it sit in a sweet spot for serious home entertainers, small cafes, or pop-up bar setups. First, let's talk about the 3-tank layout. Each tank holds about 4 liters, and because they're independent, you can load up a classic margarita mix in one, a fruit-based smoothie in another, and a kid-friendly lemonade slush in the third. In practice, that means you can keep flavors from bleeding into each other, a problem you'll notice with cheaper single-tank machines that force you to dump the whole batch to change taste. I tried a test run at a backyard birthday, and while the guests were still drinking from the first tank, I was already pouring a fresh strawberry-lime blend into the second. The machine kept the texture consistent, delivering a thick, spoonable slush that didn't turn into a soupy mess after 10 minutes. The easy operation claim lives in the simple keypad. You set each tank's temperature and start/stop the motor with a single button. There's no need to juggle knobs or watch a digital readout that flickers. The only learning curve is remembering which button corresponds to which tank, but after a quick glance at the label stickers on the front panel, it becomes second nature. For someone who isn't a barista, that simplicity is a real time saver. On the flip side, the machine doesn't have programmable presets for specific drink ratios. So if you're after a precise 30% alcohol blend, you'll need to measure that manually before you pour it into the tank. Durability is another point where the VEVOR tries to differentiate itself. The body and the 3 tanks are made from stainless steel, which not only looks sleek, but also resists the stains and odors that can plague plastic models after a few rounds of fruit juices. In the real world, that translates to less lingering flavor when you swap from a tropical mango slush to a peppermint cocoa version the next day. Cleaning, however, still demands a bit of elbow grease. You have to disassemble each tank, rinse it, and wipe down the interior with a non-abrasive brush. The machine does provide a drain valve, but it's a manual pull that can be a little stiff the first time you use it. If you're planning to run the machine daily, set aside 10 minutes after each event to give it a proper rinse. Otherwise, you'll start to notice a faint, old drink after a few cycles. Now, who actually benefits from this setup? If you're a home host who regularly throws larger parties, think 30 to 50 guests, or you run a small CAF that wants to add a signature frozen drink without committing to a full-size bar line, the VEVOR's capacity and multi-flavor flexibility make a lot of sense. The 3-tank design means you can keep a high-volume, single-flavor option like a classic margarita running all night, while still offering seasonal fruit variations for the kids. For a food truck owner, the machine's footprint is modest enough to slide onto a service counter, and the stainless steel can handle the occasional spill without denting. On the other hand, if you're just looking for a weekend gadget to make a handful of frozen drinks for a small family gathering, you'll probably find the VEVOR overkill. The initial price tag is higher than most consumer-grade models, and you'll be maintaining 3 tanks for a use case that might never fill more than one. Likewise, if you need a fully automated system that can dispense exact measurements at the push of a button, something you'd see in a high-traffic bar, this machine's manual controls will feel limiting. Let's address the hidden trade-offs that aren't obvious from the spec sheet. The power draw is respectable for a commercial-class appliance, but you'll need a dedicated 120-volt outlet with enough amperage. Trying to plug it into a standard kitchen outlet that's already feeding a refrigerator and a dishwasher can trip the circuit. The unit,